why does inflation occur at all? Like, why do we need it? Why do you think we even need it? And what is it?
I don't think inflation is necessary. I think inflation it happens because humans' natural propensity is to overreach for things, which is what has resulted in half the world, if not more of the world, being in debt. And then that debt catapults the day-to-day citizen paying for it through their taxes or through hidden tax, which is like the cost of oil or petrol or day-to-day goods or clothing or imports going up. So I think it's just a byproduct of human greed, essentially, and poorly run governments and over legislation.
Yeah, so Keynesian economics, John Maynard Keynes,
Yep.
in the 30s, his idea was 2 to 3% inflation, or it was actually 1.5 to 2% inflation, was needed to stimulate growth. It was slow enough that it would encourage people to spend their money,
Right.
because it was needed, in his opinion, to prevent the boom and bust cycles of economic systems. People lost a lot of work and jobs because that was all bound by John Maynard Keynes' solution, his opportunity to come in and say, no, here's our opportunity to take control of this system. We will control the money, and we will create a system where 2 to 3% inflation or 1.5 to 2% inflation is normal and is needed, so that people have to spend their money. Because when they're keeping their money in their pocket because of tough times, when times get hard, you save your money because you're worried. They didn't want that. So this was a way that the pernicious idea, again, of the 1.5 to 2% inflation would cause people to spend their money and not hoard it, but it wouldn't make assets blow out of proportion. However, that system has manipulated and changed through the Bretton Woods system, through fractional reserve banking, through the 80s, through the 90s, through the global financial crisis, through the dot-com boom. And now they just it's every opportunity there has been a kick of the can to create what we now have. Now, if we look at inflation that's been in the last 4 years, 2021 to 2025, it's been 2.9%. This is CPI, right?
CPI is
consumer price inflation.
Okay.
So that is a basket of goods, and we're going to go into it and break down what exactly it is. It's a basket of goods and what every average person spends, every household spends. However, your inflation cost is going to be different to my inflation cost because I have different costs. And consumer price inflation, as you'll see, it's not very trustworthy.
Yeah. This is why
to be nice.
So this is why my 3 bags of shopping from Woolworths cost me $200 today. Yeah.
Yeah. And so 2021, 2.9%, 2022, 6.6%, 2023, 5.6%, 2024, 3.2%, and then as to now, 2.1%.
So that look to the eye and to the ears, that looks good because it's spiked post-COVID and now it's coming back down.
Okay, so that's a great point. And this is where you're, sort of not knowing the depths of it.
Yeah.
This is important for you to be able to talk to me about it, because a question like that's great.
Educate me.
22% compounded has been your wealth extracted from you. Your savings, your purchasing power gone.
So if I had $100 at 2021, it would be worth $78.
Yeah, it would now cost you $122 to buy the same bag of $100 things. However, that's according to their measurements on the governments, the Australian governments, the ABS, Australian Bureau of Statistics, their determination of what CPI is. So do you think 4 years ago, you've been saving your shekels, man? You've been saving away. You've saved $10,000. But now it will cost you, what's that? $12,200
to get
to buy the same stuff that would have 5 years ago. Is that a good thing?
No.
So when you say at the start, what is inflation? Well, it's our need to pay for things. Yeah. Things have to go up in price. The
Mm.
system has to keep growing. Otherwise it dies. Now that's kind of right, but it's kind of wrong because I don't think that. I don't think that things have to go up in price. Why should they? If you think about the manufacturing global supply chains and globalization as a good thing that's created things to cost less,
Mm.
and capitalistic systems at play working to make your can of beans cheaper, because that's capitalism. You either create a better, cheaper product or someone comes in and undercuts you.
Mm.
The socialistic side of it is now the government's going to interfere and they're going to adjust things. They're going to provide subsidies. They're going to provide all these different mechanisms that don't work economically. They interfere with true free market economics. And that's why the two socialist standpoint was important before this one too, because they're two economic systems, right? So 22% of your purchasing power is wiped out.
Why does that occur though? So I still get confused as to why did it go up
Yeah.
22%? Like
Why?
yeah,
Yeah.
that's my question. Do you understand why that has happened?
Well, that's the frame of reference with John Maynard Keynes saying our economic system says we need inflation.
Yeah.
The RBA, the people that determine the interest rates in Australia, the Fed, the people that determine the interest rates in America and therefore to the world,
Mm.
because we all look at them for guidance, they say between 2 and 2.5% inflation
It's healthy.
is healthy.
Yeah.
And not only healthy, but needed for growth. They say we need it.
Mm.
You and I say, but why do we need it?
Yeah.
They say we need it,
Mm.
not you and me.
Mm.
So I don't think we need it.
So it might not be that we need it, it might be that they need it.
Yeah, they need it because they're the ones trying to grow systems and grow GDP. But as you'll see that when we go into the detail a bit thicker, you'll see it's all just a facade.
Mm.
It's just games. And it is. It's like, why do we need that? And that was the starting of my journey into asking why and then thinking, no, we don't.
Mm.
So if I think about when I was a teacher in 2021, we had our union came in and said, look, they've offered us an 8% pay rise over 4 years, which is 2% per year.
Mm.
So in that 4 years, my pay, if I was still a teacher and my friends who are teachers, their pay went up 8%.
Oh yeah, that was a point I was going to get onto as well. That one of the issues that we're having with this 22% compounding interest over the past 4 or 5 years is the pay scale hasn't increased 22%. Anywhere near that.
Yeah, that's right. And so what that is, if I scroll down here and I put this graph up, this one here, that's the employee real wages.
Yeah.
So we are now at 2011 real wages.
So this is going down.
Yeah.
So they can see, like, if you're looking at this chart now, it's a big peak up from 2011 to 2021.
A slow grinding up, and then a melt up.
And then it dips dramatically post 2022, post COVID. It dips down really dramatically. So
when we say nominally, right, which just means the number, we're earning more money.
Yeah.
We have more money in our bank accounts. We're getting more dollars per hour. It looks good on paper. Our houses are worth more. Our living is better.
Yeah.
Right. But when we look at it compared to real wages, which is an index, it's telling us that we are living at 2011 standard. Our wages are not going up.
We're earning at a 2011 standard, but we're not living at a 2011 standard because the dollar's worth less because of inflation.
The dollar's worth less and you have less real money in your pocket to spend.
Yeah.
So it makes it harder to save. It makes it harder to buy that hard asset, harder to buy the house, harder to put money away into Bitcoin, into stocks, because everything's gone up that isn't CPI. Assets aren't included in CPI. Houses, stocks, Bitcoin. So you've lost 22% just based on the things that we like fuel, rent. We're going to go into it.
I want to know.
But you've lost more. You've lost more on buying a house because houses have gone up 39% in that time. So that's how far behind you are.
Plus landowner tax, plus all like the
Oh yeah, whatever. Like,
things that go onto it as
if
well.
a house has gone from 700,000 and it's gone up 40% to now it's $1 million, that's huge.
Yeah.
Because you've got to service it and you've got to save the deposit.
Mm.
You can't do it.
Mm. Yeah, which is defeating for a lot of people, especially considering that my generation is still stuck on the whole mindset of, a lot of people at least, get a house, get 2.5 dogs, get married, have children, all
Yeah.
that kind of jazz. What I find really interesting about Australia's situation is, I'm not sure if it's somewhere between 2009 and 2012, the Australian dollar was worth 1.6 USD dollars. Like, we had a higher rate on our dollar than American dollars, but now we're down to, I think, like an Australian dollar is worth 60 cents in America.
About 65 cents, I think.
Yeah, which is insanity to me. How in a 10-year span does the Australian dollar get halved in buying power in America?
Yeah, and that's going off on another tangent, so I'll try to make the answer concise, but interest rates affect another country's dollar, and we all compare our dollar to the American dollar because they're the cleanest shirt in the dirty laundry. Their money's still inflating away too. But at the moment, with the tariffs and the trade wars that have been happening, they're trying to devalue their own currency to entice people to purchase things from America.
Right.
And to not allow those other countries that were purposely devaluing their currency to do that as long. That's a pretty concise answer. There's a lot to it.
Right. The rabbit holes of money.
Yeah. But every year, without you noticing, your purchasing power, your money buys you less.
Yeah.
Without you even noticing it, because there's the 2.9%, the 6.6%.
I think people are really noticing this now, because one of the hottest topics within the news is the cost of living epidemic. One of the world bodies on mental health as well said that Australia, the UK, is the second most scared and anxious country in the world right now. Australia is the fifth most stressed and anxious country in the world. And the financial side has a huge part to do with this.
It's huge,
because
man.
everyone is terrified of the cost of living, and it's fear-driven, like, down our throats like crazy.
Yeah.
And people are catching on. Like, I saw someone post on my Instagram the other day, why have I spent it was something like $400 on groceries in like 13 days into the month.
Yeah.
And she never spends that.
And it hits lower income households more because they're the ones spending more just to get by week to week. They're buying the groceries, the fuel, the things that are in the CPI.
Yeah. Let alone if they haven't been financially educated, and then they're in crippling debt as well, and then they're slave to interest rates.
Yeah, and the interest rates have gone up. And so the number that you see on the news, that's the CPI. CPI is at 2.1, and you're like, oh, great, I'm only being inflated away at 2%. If you understood it, you'd say, oh, that's okay. I'm only perniciously, slowly being devalued in my savings.
Yeah.
But that's why you cannot keep your money in your money.
Mm.
You have to, as soon as you can get rid of it, do it.
Make it work for you.
Yeah. So if you think about the cost of housing going up 39% in 4 years, brutal. That's an asset. That's not in CPI.
Did you say 39% in 4 years?
Yeah, as a total.
That's nuts.
Yeah. And so that's because, remember, money was cheap. Money was so cheap. It was like 2% after costs to borrow. So we dragged forward all this ability to buy houses. Anyone who was thinking about buying a house, when the interest rate got to 2% and we realized COVID wasn't that bad, everyone bought a house.
Yeah.
It dragged forward all this demand. But now the next generation, like people like yourself and other people your age who don't have a house, they're stuffed unless you think differently.
Yeah.
So what you do with your money matters, and whether you invest it or save it, that's a decision in itself.
We've got an episode on investing, don't we?
Yeah, it was debt, but we turned it into investing.
Yeah, I think this one's interesting.
The car insurance.
I think the car insurance, and what does it mean by amount covered down?
All right. So the car insurance, my car insurance, because I've just renewed mine, it went from last year, 1,418 to 1,635. And I worked it out. I was like, that's 15% more expensive.
If it makes you feel any better, this year I will have spent $8,000 on car insurance.
Bonkers. The car's only worth 28.
Yeah, it's so bad.
But because you've got a loan, that'd be why.
Yeah.
Because you've got a loan, they say you have to do it. Because if you crash it, then
You're screwed.
then you still have to pay it off,
Yeah.
and you don't even have it anymore.
Yeah.
So they know that.
Yeah.
And you're under 25 and coming off that.
I was. Now I've turned 25 and I've had a year of insurance with no claims. So
Yeah. So
big change.
another option there would have been to not hearing that and going, you know what, I'm just going to save that $400 a month,
Yeah.
and put that aside into a
$650
separate
a month.
account, and don't crash, and then you've got savings there that, yeah, like you can pay for your car or whatever.
Or I've just put it into Bitcoin. That would have been the
Yeah, hindsight. But so then within that insurance cover that I've got, looking at the numbers, they would have paid me, this is full comp, they would have paid me $2,150 for a new car if I had stacked it.
Yeah.
Now they're only paying me $1,950.
Right.
So
You're
not
paying
only
more,
I'm
and
paying
you're getting
more,
less.
and they're reimbursing me less.
That's crazy.
So that's like a double inflation, right?
Yeah.
But
This is the hidden tax, hidden inflation that
it's all hidden. It's all hidden inflation, but it's not like they're maliciously doing it, because insurance companies are not doing it for bad reasons. They have to do it because more people on their phones crashing, so their premiums go up.
Yeah.
If everyone's making claims, premiums go up. When the roads suck and you're getting your window chipped, premiums go up.
Yeah.
Home insurance is a bit different, right? So a couple of years ago, I was paying $1,500 to insure my home. Now, 2 years later, $2,000,
Wow.
right? So on average,
Yeah, it's a 19% increase.
a 19% increase on average to insure your home. Where's that in the CPI? I thought CPI was 3%, Ryan.
Yeah, that's nuts.
19%. But do you know what they do? They adjust it, right? It's called hedonic adjustment. And I'm going to get into that in a second. What they do is they say, yes, you're paying more. You're now paying $2,000 instead of $1,500. However, it now costs $400,000 to rebuild your house instead of $300,000 because the costs of goods have gone up. Therefore, you're actually getting more value for that.
Right.
That is a decrease in inflation. CPI just went down. Does that make sense? Logically, does that make any goddamn sense?
No, like it doesn't. That logically doesn't make sense.
It doesn't make any sense. Why CPI, why our measurement stick of inflation would be down on those numbers.
Next, they're going to put the cost of my Whoop up. You know, and that's...
I tell you, if they do that, I'll be throwing it at the window.
Hedonic adaptation.
Yeah. So hedonic means the feeling of pleasure.
Yeah.
Hedonic adaptation is, you might have heard of the hedonic treadmill.
Yep.
So hedonic adaptation is when you return to a baseline state of happiness. You win the lottery and then you see the guy on the news 5 years later. He's either broke or he's miserable or he's like just doing something else.
Or you've never heard of him again since.
He's gone.
Yeah.
Or, you lose a limb, you become permanently disabled, or you lose a loved one, but you keep chugging on. You lose a loved one, and then a year later, like you're still okay. You survive because we return to that state of homeostasis, which is like just the flatline baseline level of happiness.
We've gone, this is okay.
It's the same thing about talking about when you buy the new car and you get this big rush of dopamine and feeling good, and then you return to the baseline state.
6 weeks later, it's just a car.
It's just a car.
Yeah.
But hedonic adjustment that's when they say you're getting like the Apple iPhone is $1,000 1 year. The next year it's $1,200. However, that's not 20% CPI inflation, Ryan. No way.
No.
You got a better camera. You got better software. It's a quicker interface.
You get to say you have the new iPhone.
And we got new colors. Like all the technology's increased 25%. You got more value for that $1,200 thing. Therefore, inflation is down on that metric.
Wow.
Does that make any goddamn sense, Ryan?
No.
That's what you're competing with.
You know what? It does make sense when you talk about, these are people within government that are trying to hold their position. They want numbers to look good. humans were easily persuaded by numbers. If we see a 2% sign, we're like, oh, that's okay. If all of a sudden they say house insurance is up 19%, we go, that's really not good. Like, why is
And
that
that will
happening?
flash across the screen, but then it's all right because it didn't contribute to CPI, and CPI is still only 2.1%, so we're okay. We're in that perfect zone that they want us to be. Who'd have thunk that we'd be in the perfect zone where they wanted us to be, so that they could lower interest rates or raise interest rates, because those are the numbers they're using to determine what the interest rate will be. And CPI does not include the cost of a house and the cost of your interest repayments.
Surely government is aware of this, though. And I can't imagine that government actually wants this.
Wants what?
The increase in the cost of living and the stress amongst, like, per capita. Like, surely the government doesn't actually want that.
I feel like you trust the government too much.
No, it's not that I trust the government, because it's like, it's all smoke and mirrors a lot.
They want a good
anyway.
economy, don't they? While they're in power, they want people to be happy.
Like, surely you want the, like, humans to be flourishing, because if it was a conversation I think we had last week, if more Australians are producing more income, then that's more money coming into the country, which is benefiting everyone.
How do you get more inflation? They don't.
Right.
It's not that they want. They don't. They. It's not that they don't not want it. It's just they've lost control of it.
Right.
They don't have control of it,
So they don't know what
they're
to do.
manipulating these statistics to make you feel good.
Yeah.
Because if they showed you the true inflation rate, that house prices have gone 39% in 4 years, what does that do to a generation of you?
No one's buying houses.
Not only that, like, fuck going to work.
Yeah.
What's the point? I'm only going to work 3 days a week and I'm just going to be a lifestyle hippie because I'm stuffed.
I resonate with that. I resonate with that from different points in my life. Yes.
But like, technology is deflationary by nature. You've heard of Moore's law?
No.
Moore's law is that technology is doubling. The amount of information they can fit on microchips, microprocessors,
Right.
doubles every 12 to 18 months.
Yeah.
So technology gets better. 5 years ago, if you got a 5-year-old TV, like, you're struggling in terms of the technology that's on it.
Yeah. There's no AI upscaling. There's no 4K resolution.
Right.
Yeah, all that stuff.
It's just a new UHD, 4K, whatever.
Yeah.
It doesn't any longer need HDMI ports. Technology is going exponential with that. Not the S-curve. It just goes exponential.
Yeah.
Until it, I don't think it stops. It just goes to the moon because things just keep getting better and better and better because technology is doubling. That's why phones can get smaller and smaller and smaller.
Yeah.
They fit more information into them. So technology will continue to get better. So why does that mean we have to continue to pay more, even though technology is automatically getting better based on Moore's law?
Yeah.
And globalization and cheap labor in China and India and Brazil and Africa and Vietnam and Southeast Asia has meant that our goods are cheaper to produce.
Yeah, they cost $10 to make an iPhone.
Do they?
Yeah, $10 to make an iPhone. And they sell it for $1,200.
Yeah. Everybody's taking their piece along the way.
Yeah. There's obviously the marketing and design and everything that goes into that side of things.
Right.
Yes, but like the physical components of an iPhone,
Yeah.
it's $10.
Oh, the material.
The material
Okay.
to put that thing together is $10.
Yeah. That's not the cost of it, though. Like, we talked about...
There's marketing, there's design, there's the testing phases, there's the,
Yeah, the cost to make something is
huge,
extravagant, but the materials costing $10, that makes sense.
Yeah. And in my mind, with technology increasing in the manner that it is, shouldn't that mean that people's lives are getting easier?
Yeah.
Like the whole reason things...
And they kind of are technologically, but financially, it's going the other way.
Yeah.
It's getting harder. That's the wage inflation gauge.
Even like general day-to-day enjoyment and happiness, like that's going dramatically down if you compare it to stats that they've recorded from the 1950s. And this is post-war.
That was the golden time.
Yeah, this was like post-war. Like everyone's like enthusiasm and enjoyment was like sky high. Look at America during the 70s.
Well, it's all relevant, isn't it? When you survive a war, like you're happy because you survived.
Yeah.
Whereas whatever.
Now it seems like it's like we're in an intellectual war. Like people are all just fighting for our attention. There's inflation, there's fear, there's so much stuff coming at us and we just can't process it. Like we're apes running around that figured stuff out.
Mm.
And now all of a sudden we have millions and millions and millions of bits of information to process every single day.
Yeah. So here's some more.
Right.
So CPI, it's the basket of goods on average that the general household uses, right? You've got food and non-alcoholic beverages, which is just groceries and takeaway. You've got alcohol and tobacco, which also has taxes attached to it.
Huge ones.
Clothing, footwear, housing, but it's not to purchase the house.
It's the materials?
The materials, the labor.
Yeah. I see you
and
got
rents.
Rents up there as
Rent
well.
is there. Now, rent has been stable for 40 years in not as a price, right? It hasn't been the same price, but
Percentage
it's
of
been
income?
20% of income
Yeah.
for 40 years.
Do you notice that now?
20%.
Still at 20%.
Yep.
Wow.
Because you can only pay a yield to the owner of the house what you can afford. Otherwise, you move.
Yeah.
Whereas for me to move out of this house, stamp duty, lender's mortgage insurance, and real estate fees cost me $100,000 just to move.
Yeah.
So I'm not going to do that unless it's a dramatic shift. However, for a renter, if they're like, "Oh, we're going to put the rent up on you $15," they're like, "Okay, well, I'm going to move." They don't calculate that you have to pay a bond. You'll probably be out of pocket. You got to pay the movers.
Time. Yeah.
They don't calculate that. You've also got just general household furnishing, health and medical services, transport, fuel, car, rego insurance, public transport, if you pay for public transport.
Rego's creeping up so slowly.
It always does.
Like, it's just slowly ticking over.
But Ryan, you're wrong, because you get more value for your rego now.
No, I don't. The roads, I still pay for the Eastlink.
Yeah. And they're spending more money on fixing it.
Yeah.
So on fixing the public roads.
Slow. And there's still always roadworks. There's still always construction.
So the roadworks is there. They're probably saying that's a deflationary cost.
Yeah.
Because of the money that they're putting in to fix the roads that are constantly potholed.
My mind always becomes really boggled when you look at the idea of you paid tax for the tires that got taxed when they came into Australia, that the person who put the wheels onto your car paid tax on, and now you have to pay tax for the car that has those wheels attached to them. Like, the tax just multiplies all the way down to zero. Like, that stuff boggles my mind, how it just compounds on top of one another. Like, how is, you as an employer, you pay a tax on what you earn, and then what you pay all of us, we then have to pay a tax on top of that as well.
As a company, you only pay the tax on the profit.
Yeah.
So then paying employees, it's not exactly right, but there's something like 120 taxes or in Australia that we pay for different things. And when you pay for your house, you've already paid it off something like 1.5 times in tax, because to pay off $1 million house, which is what houses cost now, then you're going to have to earn $2.5 million to pay off the $1 million house. Then you've got interest to pay as well. Like, it's not feasible.
Yeah, which is why so many people, like, based on what you've just said, throw their hands up and say, "I'm not going to bother."
I would.
All of this.
I would. That's why I leverage my house to the tilt, because I don't care.
Yeah,
I'm like, houses are broken. I didn't create this problem. I'm going to do something else. I'm investing in other things, not houses. Transport. Yep.
Back to the things.
Communication, recreation. Your TVs, computers, streaming, holidays, education, school fees, and then your insurances, right? Those are the basket of goods that they're pulling from and determining what inflation is. Remember, they're doing a hedonic adjustment. And also, if your eye fillet has gone up 25% because whatever reason, it's become more expensive or it's more in demand and the wealthy are eating it more or whatever, or there's supply demand issues, they remove that item from the basket of goods and they replace it with another item and then say it's the same thing. They remove the eye fillet, they put in this Scotch fillet and they say that's the same item.
So when they release the CPI statement, do you view that as a lie?
It's a lie.
Yeah.
Yeah. Inflation is a hidden tax, and tax is theft.
Mm.
It's theft. We just discussed how they just take and take and take and take from you.
Mm.
It's just out and out theft. That's how a libertarian would view it. They also remove, they have a trimmed mean CPI, which means they remove bouncy, noisy items like there's no avocados, or, you know, eggs go up to $12 from $6.
Yeah.
They just remove that item as a trimmed mean.
That's nuts.
Yeah. But it still costs you more if you choose to buy it. What else?
It's just sad because it just doesn't seem to be working.
So tobacco, for example, that rises annually because of tax hikes. The taxes just keep getting tacked onto that. Not market prices. It's not free market because they've got taxes on top of it. So the inflation might go up from there, but then they would say less people are smoking. So we reduce the percentage of what we use in that basket. So here's a percentage breakdown of the basket. You've got, you know, food and non-alcoholic beverages, 16.5%. These are the major ones, recreation, and then housing. But again, we've talked about housing. It's not the cost to buy a house. It's just the cost to rent the house and the labor attached to it. Is there anything that stands out there?
It's sad to me the small amount that education, health, and recreation and culture and communication only make up 2%.
So it's a reflection on this is a percentage breakdown of the inflation adjusted part of it. So because there's more recreational opportunities, they use it as a greater scope.
Right. Okay.
But there's not all that much to pay for within education, like school fees. You got school fees and books and clothes.
Yeah.
And the clothes are probably in the other metric anyway. That's a bit like whatever, but it's handy to know how the basket works. Right? We're going to break down what this is.
CPI doesn't include asset price inflation.
Right.
Does that matter?
Yeah. What do you think?
CPI doesn't include asset inflation. So it's not taking into consideration if you had, I'm sure it does with the housing market. Like if you owned a house and that went up, it doesn't take that.
Only takes a rent. So
right.
Because they view housing as an asset and they don't view the mortgage cost. So remember I said my interest repayments went from 20 grand to 50 grand. That didn't affect CPI. Because if it did, CPI would have been through the roof.
Yeah, would have been like 30%.
Yeah,
or whatever that is.
Whatever. They would have put it up to a number, and then that would have made the RBA reduce interest rates. So they can't do it. But that came out in 1998. They removed interest rates.
So does CPI directly correlate to interest rates?
It influences it. So they look at unemployment and then inflation as the two main reasons why they would, as well as some other things. Sure, there's nuance there.
Yeah.
But they look at those two metrics as to what they're going to do with interest rates, make them higher or lower. But they're manipulated and they don't include housing. So this is why everyone paying a mortgage is struggling. And then the renters are struggling because the compound CPI is 22%. They've got less income. The people who own houses, they're paying extravagant amounts for their mortgage.
I'm doing a calculation right now.
Go for it.
Because I make $7.5 grand before tax per month. That times 0.2 equals $1,500 a month divided by 4. That's $375 a week for rent that I would have if it was 20% of my income. So I think you'd find I think you'd find most people, if they're living by themselves, they're paying a lot more than 20% of their income.
They're paying on the average household.
They're paying closer to 40%. And this is where dual incomes come into things too.
That's right. Because if you're living by yourself, you're living in a one-bedroom shack.
Yeah.
And you're paying probably that.
Yeah.
Right?
Or you're with housemates or flatmates, whatever it may be.
Yeah. And if you're in a dual income household, which is the average person, they're talking about averages here. So they're saying the average person, you got $750 to spend on rent. Shit, man, you're living. That's how they view you. And you can see that when you've got your car repayments, your daily life, your whoop.
Yeah. The Whoop's the one
what's
that really does it.
if I get that name right, I'm gonna get it right one day. Whoop. What do they call it? Woof.
Whoop.
Yeah. So they're not capturing the rapid inflation of the asset prices in houses. That's the main one that people feel. But the other thing they don't feel is what Bitcoin went from 10,000 to 120,000 US,
Yeah.
right, in 5 years, right? That's 1,200% inflation.
Yeah.
The stock market's up 40%,
Yeah.
right? That's inflation. You've missed it. You've missed the ability to make money.
Mm.
So can you see if you have your money in the bank or just trying to get by and trying to save, you're going backwards 22% in 4 years.
Yeah.
We have had a period of larger inflation than normal.
Yeah.
According to CPI. But the asset prices have always been doing this. The asset prices have always gone up more than CPI. They're excluded from the metric. Smart people, rich people, put their money into hard assets.
Yeah.
Because it's going to go up at 40%, while your consumer price index is going up at 22%. You're up 20% there in your purchasing power.
Do you think we're at the peak of this right now, or do you think it's only going to go worse?
I think we're coming into a period of higher than average inflation.
Right.
Because of the debt and the amount of money printing that's going to have to happen. Because think about the situation we just explained. The cost of living crisis, we're going to have wage growth, aren't we?
Yeah.
Or prices coming down in items. Do you see rents coming down? Like, I don't see rents coming down because then the investor has to sell the property. That's unsustainable. Yields are already low, right? Which means the cost that you pay to buy the house and the amount you get back when you rent it. Yields are already low. So if rents come down, that creates problems. Housing's a big portion of the CPI.
It's huge.
So, and it's mostly rent,
Yeah.
right? And labor. And
it's over 20%.
Yeah, 22%. So the inflation that I think is going to come is going to be from wage growth, wage increase.
Yep.
But as wages increase, everything else, there's more money in the system to spend, and that's when it does become, it feeds through the bottom line.
What would happen if, say, the average Australian starts making 20,000 extra dollars per year, but then current cost of living stayed the same? Would that have a negative impact within the money system, or could it still work?
If people are saving more money, it's a good thing for people, but it's a bad thing for Keynesian economics, which wants you to spend it. It doesn't want you to save. It wants the money slushing around. That's why they gave the stimulus packages. People have stopped spending their money. COVID's come. Let's stimulate the economy. How do we stimulate it? All that means is get the money flowing around in circles. You get the money and then you spend it on your Whoop and on items at the shops and go out to restaurants and go to the movies and do that. And then the movie operator gets their money and they can pay the wages and can employ more people.
Yeah.
So that's how an economy functions. You have to have the money going around. And when people tighten their belts, the people who are good savers do really well because they save it in those assets. The people who spend the money keep the money flowing in the economy and keep the economy going. They don't want people to hold on to their money. So if everyone gets a 20% pay increase, there's now 20% more savings in people's pockets. What are they going to do?
But that doesn't happen because lifestyle inflation is such a natural
Some
thing.
people, sure, will continue to...
A majority, I would say.
Will just continue to spend.
Yeah, majority of people live paycheck to paycheck. Majority of people don't have to live
So a
paycheck
third
to
of
paycheck.
people own their house outright.
Really?
A third of people rent, and a third of people have a mortgage.
A third of people own their house outright. Are they all boomers?
Well, you're talking about retirees and people over 50. Like I could own my house outright if I chose to, but I choose to put that money elsewhere and let it grow. So that 20% that's saved, that is going to go to hard assets.
Right. Right. As in
That means
housing.
that causes the hard asset inflation because
Hmm.
people can buy the house. What do house prices do?
They'll go up.
They go up because
Yeah.
they're competing with the investor, and everyone else has got this opportunity to buy a house. They're going to do it because they want to do it. If you can't do it, you don't bother. But if you can, you probably will.
Hmm.
Because we all want to own something. I think it's an inherent nature in us to want to own it. So the scary
We want
socialism
security.
movements, yeah, we want security. And the scary socialism movements is young people not being able to own anything, knowing that they can't, becoming neo-Nazis and becoming socialists
Hmm.
and
Yeah.
going, it's not fair, and it isn't fair.
Or believing in Gary's economics.
Yeah, and that's why he gets the views, mate. Gets the clicks.
What's this case study that you have?
Oh yeah.
Was there anything else that you wanted to touch
No,
on?
I'm just skipping through to say, let's do this bit first. So before I go into the case study, you've got
Minus 10,000?
in 1988, Austrac
Yeah.
created this system where if you were moving $10,000 anywhere or outside the country, you had to explain that.
Right.
You had to document it, and they called it anti-money laundering.
Mm.
And then in 2006, they called it anti-terrorism law. So it's into law now that the banks have to track that money, where it's going, that $10,000, where is it going,
Yeah.
and why. But in 1988,
Yes.
$10,000 would buy you half a house.
Yeah.
Maybe not that much, been probably embellishing there, but it will buy you a lot. What does $10,000 buy you now?
Not even a tenth.
And yet that law still exists.
Yeah.
So along the way, all these little adjustments of inflation, there's all of a sudden more tracking on you, more data on you,
More
more
barriers.
control over us, and it doesn't need to be. That should have scaled back and indexed,
Mm.
right? This case study. So we've got the CMFEU, for example, and they negotiate generous wage increases because they're a very powerful union.
Right.
And
Is this government?
CMFEU are run by bikies.
Right. Okay.
John Setka, yeah, he's a former bikie, and they've got their talons into the government, and so they get a pretty good deal.
Yeah.
Right. The public sector relies heavily on government-backed projects like the Westgate Tunnel and roads and whatever else, and having lollipop people. What are they called? Stop-go sign operators.
Yes.
They're on $150,000, $200,000 a year because of their union.
Which is so nuts.
Right? We talk about overregulation.
Yeah.
They went, one person died. Now you have to employ this. You have to employ 2 stop-go operators for every job site everywhere in Victoria or Australia or wherever it is.
Mm.
Where does that money come from? The government has to pay for it. They print the money anyway. They don't care. They'll pay for it because they want to do the jobs. But that's not a free market system.
No.
And what that does to the public system is that if I'm going to build a house and I'm like, oh man, I'm a laborer, I've just finished my apprenticeship, I can start a business and get 80 grand a year maybe and take a lot of risk, or I can go be a stop-go operator and make 150.
Yeah.
I'm going to do that.
Mm.
So then the people go there. Like, it makes it really hard for the public sector to operate.
Mm.
That's inflation. It's inflation because there's more money in the system and people are getting paid more, and they can go and buy the stuff. They can buy whatever they want, and they buy the hard assets. It pushes the prices up, but it only comes from government spending.
Yeah. And then that also causes a lot of unrest within people too. Like, I know
It makes people angry. It makes me angry.
There's so many memes online of people just hating on traffic controllers.
Mm.
Of just people thinking that they're always on smoker or always on their phone. And like, don't get me wrong, I saw a stop-go lady sitting at a bus stop the other day on her phone. And I drove by 3 hours later and she was still there. And I don't know if she got up at all, but I know she was getting paid during that time. And like, you see it as frustrating, but at the same time, what other option do people really have?
It's not their fault. Like, that's incentives, right? You move with your incentives. I want to earn more money. Where can I do it? Here, I go over there.
Yeah.
It's why lots of people want to become support workers. They think they earn more money and it's an easy job.
It's not. I'll tell you right now.
I was going to hand you a mic, but you already got one.
It's really, really not. If that is your goal, I would highly recommend against doing it. You can do it, but you'll fizzle out pretty quickly, or people will
if
think
you're
you out.
jumping in and you're not guided well. Yeah, it's a really really hard, underappreciated job.
Yeah.
But so that labor movement through the union movement and the CMFEU in particular, that pushes the prices up of other laborers, because now the other businesses, private businesses, have to pay their laborers more to compete
Yeah.
and to keep them.
Mm.
So that's inflationary, caused by one entity, the government.
Mm. Mm. And is this all under like the locus of control? Like, is that why government does it? Because I'm still trying to figure out like why does government do
It
this?
comes down to that saying, don't take for malice that which can adequately be contributed to ignorance. They're not being malicious and mean, they're just stupid. They're
Right.
just different sections of government operating within their sphere, making decisions that has implications on the entire economy.
Do you think government's too big then? Do you
Yeah,
think
we need smaller government.
you need to scale it back?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I asked this question last night in this Fabian economics meeting that I persevered and struggled through. Why the regulation? Because this person who'd written this book suggested that the regulation isn't the problem. There's other solutions to the housing mechanism. And I said, but regulations are quite significant. The red tape take you 2 years to build the house because, as I said last week, your tree's too close to the fence, and then the deck has to move, and this pipe has to move, and you're going back and forth with the council for months at a time to move silly things. That doesn't have to be that difficult.
No.
Just tell me what I have to do. Come out here, inspect it. We'll get it done. Let's get rolling here. Do you want us to build houses or not? Feels like they don't. So I said, surely regulation has some part to play in it.
Yeah. To just slow people down more than anything. I feel like it's literally just to make life harder.
And it's bureaucrats just justifying their existence.
Yeah, I can't imagine that Australia's the only like country that does this though, right?
And that's a council, right? Like, you've got a council entity. Why are they in charge of what I can do with my house? Like, surely it's not. Surely there's some. Even the railroad, we've got a universal railroad. Like, surely we can make it easy for people to build a home if they want to build a home. Because when a developer wants to do it, and they get bribed out in Casey and just release all that land and build there, that's okay. But if you want to build your own house, it has to be according to these measurements, and then they really stick you with it.
Yeah, I think front yards not being allowed is one of the most interesting things to me. Like, if you drive down any suburban road, there's no front yards. Like, there's front yards in the sense that like you have gardens and stuff like that, but you can't build at a certain point close enough to the walkway. And most people don't have any room in their front yard to be able to put like a fence in it, for example. Like, you can't really put a fence like right out the front of your house, depending on the area that you're in. Like, I know you have one here, but majority of people.
I had to build it to a certain height.
Yep.
And I had to look it up.
Yep.
You can't make a 2 meter fence. You can make a 1.2 meter fence. It has to be within the same environment as the people around you.
Yep.
And you can't do a brick fence because you have to get that ticked off by council.
Yeah.
All these. Yes, someone could die. Is a fence falling on someone? Like,
No.
maybe a brick fence could fall on someone. I don't know. There's dodgy builders out there. There's dodgy everyone out there. If I'm building the fence myself, it'd probably fall on.
Maybe.
It'd probably fall on me.
Humpty Dumpty's not having a good time.
It probably would fall on me, but I just don't think it needs to be as difficult as it's being made. It's over regulation. Too many governments. Too many things.
Right. So, with all of this, did you have like something that you wanted to end on, something that's actionable, something that like what do you do with all that information, or is it just information to sit with and chew on?
Think about why inflation exists. What is it, and why does it exist, and why is CPI manipulated like it is?
Yeah.
And then on the news it flashes and tells you that.
Mm.
Why?
Mm.
That's what you should be chewing on, because I said, I don't like that system, Ryan. I am not playing in your economic system anymore. I am buying Bitcoin and I am playing in that system.
Mm. What do you think about my mentality as far as me getting out of debt and then going into the rabbit hole of investment then? Because I think
So it's your hurdle. Your hurdle rate is your interest rate on your debt, which is 12.5%.
Yeah.
So whatever you're investing in has to beat 12.5%, or you lose.
I could also just clear the debt really quickly though. Like, it's not that much debt.
So that's the choice.
Yeah.
The choice is, can I beat 12.5% per annum in my return? If I can't, 12.5% is hard.
Yeah.
It's high. Bitcoin's done 50, but
will it do 50 again over the next 5 years?
Well, that's like looking at anything. Is how how's it going to continue to go up? Like, they've gone up for 50 years. I don't think so. I can look at the information and make my opinion based on my information, but that doesn't stop the guy next door investing in houses.
No.
So you've got to do the work and figure out, can I beat 12.5%? If I can't, then I'm best to pay off the debt.
Yeah.
That's your decision that you're weighing up.
Yeah.
And it's a hard one, because my decision is, can I beat 5.5%? Because my mortgage is 5.5%.
Which you can.
And I know I can beat it.
That's not that hard.
And I have the conviction. And even if I'm wrong, I'm like, oh, well, I gave it a crack. But I have the conviction to try.
Yeah.
But not only try with a small amount of money, with all my money, I will try.
Yeah, you put yourself on the line for this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so that's what you've got to weigh up, whether you can or you take the other route. And they're both okay. You'll learn a ton doing both. What are you thinking?
Both routes lead to me investing.
Yeah, eventually, right?
Yeah, and it's like, I either like invest now while paying off the debt for another, I think it's like 2.5 years left on it, or I pay off the debt now in like 6 months.
If you pay it off in 6 months, then you're removing a lot of interest repayments from that.
Yeah, and then that all goes into investing.
Yeah, or you try to do a bit of both. You put, you save a higher percentage. Why are you going to smirk there like I'm going to say something? You try to do something else. You try to do a bit of both, and you put, I don't know, $500 into an investment bucket each month, and $500 off your car each month, $600 off your car each month. When you have a good week, when you have a good month, you add a little bit more to one of those buckets.
Yeah.
The thing that you need to do in your position is save more. And
I'm doing that.
Yes, good.
It's finally happened. My goodness, the fact that I'm stacking weeks now where the bank account isn't running to zero.
Yeah.
And it's like adding up each time.
That's the behavior change that needs to occur.
That all happened because I started using a money tracker. But we're digressing now. We're getting into like a separate thing. We've gone away from interest into debt.
CPI, government's dodgy. Peace.
Bye.